This punctuation lesson is all about the exclamation mark. So the exclamation mark is sometimes called an exclamation point. And we use it to indicate a strong emotion, for example, anger or excitement or others. And it replaces a full stop at the end of an exclamatory sentence. Unless, of course, the last word of the sentence was an abbreviation, in which case you would have the full stop from the abbreviation and then the exclamation mark. And we use the exclamation mark to add urgency to imperative sentences. And we use it to add emphasis to individual words or phrases. And they can be combined with other exclamation and question marks. We also use exclamation marks to indicate sarcasm or irony, and we need to be careful when we're formatting titles that contain exclamation marks, but we'll see examples of all of these in a minute. So we use them to indicate a strong emotion, for instance, anger or excitement. So yuck, liver and spinach for dinner again. Now this sort of yuck has an exclamation mark. It's like, ugh, yuck. Or perhaps a more positive example, woohoo, holiday starts tomorrow. So by adding the exclamation marks, we can see that we're excited about the holiday. Or you passed all your exams, well done. And again, exclamation marks to show the excitement. Exclamation marks actually replace the full stop at the end of an exclamatory sentence. Unless, of course, the last word is an abbreviation. So, I'm amazed that you know him. Now, without the exclamation mark, that would just be the sentence, I'm amazed that you know him, with a full stop. Because we're showing excitement, we've replaced the full stop with the exclamation mark, as shown. And him in this case, I'm amazed that you know Robert Downey Jr. Now, if you notice, the junior has been abbreviated to JR dot. And in this case, we have both. We have the dot of the abbreviation, as well as the exclamation mark showing the emotion in the sentence. Or another example that shows this, my operation is scheduled for 4 a.m. So 4 o'clock in the morning. And they also add urgency to imperative sentences. So we'll look at some examples and compare them. The fairly neutral way is I need the report by Friday, which ends in a full stop. But to show urgency, you replace the full stop with an exclamation mark and say, I need the report by Friday. Like it's really important. Or similarly, if someone's all excited and you say you need to calm down, by adding an exclamation mark at the end, you're really sort of, hey, you need to calm down. And we also use them to add emphasis to individual words or phrases. And we show this by adding the exclamation mark in brackets after the word or phrase that we wish to emphasize. And I would like to point out that this is really only in informal writing, and please don't do this in any formal writing. It's really not required there. So here's an example. We worked really late. It was midnight before we left. And by placing an exclamation mark in brackets after the word midnight, we're emphasizing it was midnight before we left. Like it was that late. Or she has had 5 husbands and still hasn't found the right one. Now 5 husbands is, well, at least in the eyes of the speaker, is something that needs emphasizing and is unusual. Or he really likes motorbikes. He has 10 in his garage. And without the exclamation mark, you just say he has 10 in his garage. It would be a more neutral statement. But with the exclamation mark, he has 10. and we can combine them with other exclamation marks and question marks. And again, please don't use this in formal writing. Don't apply to a job and start doing this, okay? Please, only in informal writing, sending SMSs or texts to friends, as an example. So, leave me alone, with a whole row of exclamation marks. Right? They really want to be left alone. Or, she said what? And when we add this sort of series of question mark, exclamation mark, we're really showing sort of like, I'm astounded. This is, like, she said what? Or, oh my God, who does he think he is? Again, we're totally shocked and amazed at the way this guy is behaving. And we also use exclamation marks for sarcasm or irony. So when we're sort of being ironic, we're sort of saying the opposite of what we mean and hoping that the context and the tone of voice will really indicate that we're being sarcastic and that we're really not being genuine. So someone might say, oh, you're so clever. And this sort of really sort of sarcastic tones indicates that we're really saying they're not very clever. Or, oh, she looked positively radiant. Now, this sentence could be meant as a genuine praise that somebody looks really wonderful, or depending on the tone, could mean the exact opposite. So if you wanted to say it as a form of praise, you can say, she looked positively radiant. And if you mean it sarcastically, you'd say, she looked positively radiant. And the suitable eye rolling will tell you that we're being sarcastic. Or you failed your driving test again. Genius. As we don't think he's a genius for failing his test. And when we're formatting titles of, say, films or books that have exclamation marks in it, we have to be a bit careful with how we do it. And what we often do is if we're writing and we mention the title of a film or a book, we often put the title of the film or book in italics to show that it's a title. Now, if the name of the book or film includes an exclamation mark, then this would also get italicized. But if the name is without one, then the exclamation mark is not italicized. And we'll see a couple of examples. So how many times have you seen Mamma Mia this month? So the film is called Mamma Mia, and there's an exclamation mark in the title of the film. So we put the whole thing in italics, Mamma Mia, and the exclamation mark because it's part of the title and name of the film. But if you got, say, a film like Groundhog Day, you can say, I really like watching Groundhog Day. Now there's no exclamation mark in Groundhog Day, and I hope you can see here that the exclamation mark is not in italics because it's not part of the title.